I actually think with Jordan, I don't know if you agree, but I think when Stevie left, Steve Gerrard, I think kind of Jordan thought, sorry.
Jordan Henderson was named Player of the Year when Liverpool won the league. But where did he come from? And why was he a great player? We have to discover where he came from first, and that's Sunderland. So let's have a look at that first. You can even see not just his football ability, but back then in Sunderland, where he actually was very honest, and it was that characteristic that drew him to Liverpool in the first place.
Jordan, do you remember the last time you scored a winning goal for Sunderland? Back to the youth team, I would have thought.
Yeah, it's a long time since I scored a goal, but I think the team played really well in the first half, especially in. I think that's the 3 points is massive for us.
There he also said that, well, he put the team in front of his own needs when he spoke about that scoring of goals. But it takes skill to score goals, and Jordan Henderson, although criticised, has actually a lot of technical skill, as seen here in his days with Sunderland. It was that earlier ability, of course, that drew Liverpool's attention, and before long he was on his way to the hallowed Anfield. Even though former Liverpool midfielder Danny Murphy, who had played for England himself and had played in the midfield position that Gerrard and Jordan Henderson both played, realised at the start of this video that, well, perhaps Henderson had come into his own, become a better player because of Gerrard's absence. Henderson actually admitted in learning things from Gerrard.
Since I've been in Liverpool, Steve's helped me a lot personally. On the field, you just pick up little things when you're training with him, and especially when you're playing with him every week. Me and Steve have played throughout the season together, and it's worked really well at times.
Even though Henderson was getting really criticised for his time at Liverpool with Gerrard in the team, suddenly Gerrard left, and this is how Henderson felt.
Yeah, it'll be difficult because he's such a leader of our group.
So the mantle was passed. Gerrard was gone, the great Liverpool midfielder who got Liverpool through so many difficulties, and Henderson was the new captain. Even though Henderson was doing his best at Liverpool, he had lots of criticism. Still in all, he scored important goals. Henderson's technical skills allowed him to play for England, and there he showed that he too could score goals. But even with England, his honesty was seen, and he spoke of how really and truly he got a call up where he perhaps did not deserve it.
Going to the Euros was another big experience. Didn't expect it because obviously when Frank got injured and I got put in.
Being a leader, of course, means there's a lot of responsibility, and that honesty was really required when difficult players came to the club. Mario Balotelli, the man who had been such an enigma, who had helped Manchester City previously win the Premier League, but was let go, and now he was at Liverpool, chose to take a penalty. And this is what happened. Looking at it again, you can see how Henderson actually walked away and showed his maturity. And even later on, when the goal was scored, he actually celebrated with Balotelli and showed that responsibility in his leadership. The big games are the sign of great players, great teams and great captains. And Henderson didn't shy away from the very well lauded and World Cup winner Paul Pogba when Pogba did something completely crazy on the field. A few years later, the greatest, perhaps the greatest of all time, Leo Messi from Argentina, playing for Barcelona. Messi doing all he could to thwart Liverpool, and yet and all, Henderson showed great leadership, saw what was happening with his teammate Andy Robertson and stepped in. The leadership here was shown in spades by Henderson, and this is a thing that's not often seen in a game when the camera isn't directly on the great players. But even though many high flyers in football like Alex Ferguson wasn't a fan of Jordan Henderson, Steven Gerrard, the previous captain, he knew exactly his value and said and ushered Liverpool to sign him up well before he became captain.
You know, I want to watch this team do well moving forward. I want to see them in cup finals and challenging for leagues. And it's them players, your Sterlings, your Hendersons, Sturridges, Coutinho's who they've just signed up. They're the players that are going to deliver. So,
as he grew into his role as captain, Henderson showed his tough tackling and leadership throughout his time when Liverpool were going for European glory. Of course, as any team becomes more successful and new players are bought in, existing players, and ones certainly that the media aren't the biggest fans of, people like Jordan Henderson, are under pressure. And it wasn't just his position that was under pressure, but his captaincy, his role of ace leader really in Liverpool. When Virgil van Dijk, the brilliant defender, the Dutch defender, came in, had shown great times and proved himself at Celtic and also Southampton. But even though Henderson was smaller, he knew how to lead.
Yeah, we obviously wanted to come out second half and score one or two more if we could, but that wasn't the case. We didn't really create that much. And like you said, it was a bit stop-start, and we could have been a lot better second half. But overall, we've got to be pleased, 2-0.
As you can see there, he spoke about we, us, and all about the team rather than about himself, showing this new leadership and showing that he could play with Virgil. Even when Henderson wasn't scoring goals, not as many as what he had done earlier on in his career, and greater players like Mohamed Salah came to the club, he was still really intent about leading the team and speaking about we and not personalising his success.
Yeah, very big. We know every game's massive for us. We know we've got to win every game, so that way we get the result that we needed, and it's a big win for us.
But he also showed his fun side too.
Mohamed Salah also.
I've got credit for God since 9 games. He's got credit for God since 20 years.
Even though many others were taking the limelight from Henderson on the field, he could still get a foot in, still play a ball. But Henderson could still show his class and lead his team with aplomb and to victory too. Manager Jurgen Klopp freely admitted and showed his honesty in why Henderson wasn't getting the headlines all of the time.
Henderson's a brilliant player, and I'm really happy that he can show that again. Likes obviously the position, and so it was my fault that he did for 1.5 years, pretty much. 6.
The thing about Jordan Henderson though is in the 1920 season, basically when the coronavirus came on board, he led not just his team but other captains, and he did things behind the scene. You can see it right here when they actually lost, and he lost the European Cup final, and this was his reaction, talking about we, us, and not putting the blame on Karius, the keeper, Calamity Karius.
And it's not about him and the mistakes he might have made, it's about us as a team. We've got here together as a team, and we'll lose as a team as well, we're all together. It's not about one person, it's about everybody, and we just weren't good enough on the night to get over the line. But
it's Henderson's gift of being a great leader by actually following his really close comfort, and that is Jurgen Klopp, a leader who has shown and continued to keep faith in him, and the emotion with the two is real. So that's how winners do it, that's how leaders do it, that's how Jordan Henderson did it for Liverpool. I've asked other people out there what they think, and this is what they've said. So, hope you enjoyed the video, and please subscribe if you can. Until next time though, have a wonderful day.